Hey folks, I want to have a look at this race here. LaGuardia Loop Flat Race, 8 laps. It was an interesting race and a really good race for me. Let's get into it and see what happened. So when I joined this race, I was surprised and pleased to see that there was a team of professional riders in the start pens. There's 4 Saris NoPinz team members in this race. So as the race develops, one of the Saris NoPinz riders gets away a little bit and it becomes clear that the other 3 riders are coordinated enough just to kind of bumble around at the front of the group and hold us back a little bit. But another rider does get away, Jack Polly, and the 2 riders together end up getting a decent gap, 6 or 7 seconds. It was really clear to me that the 3 other riders are coordinated, probably on Discord together, and that they're not going to close the gap down. So I made the observation on the chat that if we want an eventful race, we'll have to work for it ourselves. The alternative is to sit back, allow them to control the race and sprint for what will probably be, given there's 2 guys down the road, 6th place, which would put me into, 8th or 10th position, maybe at best. Just a little bit further on, we get to this climb here just before the start finish, and there's a few individual efforts that kind of bring us up the hill here. And one rider in particular just really gives it a good punch before the sprint, and that helps us to close the gap, and we all group up again just after the start finish. Fast forward to the next lap, same place, we're coming up the same climb here, and I see that rider on the left going for it, and I recognize him as Jack Polly, the guy that was in the original break. And I know that's my chance. I got to sprint like it's the end of the race to get up onto his wheel. See, one of the Saris NoPinz rider, Talbot, who was the other guy in the break earlier on in the race, is coming for it as well. And we get a little bit strung out here. And I look around me and I realize it's just me and the other 2 guys who did such a good effort on the sprint earlier in the race. So I really want to keep this going. There's one other rider here as well, and it's the rider with the Japanese flag who helped to close down the original break. So I'm feeling actually pretty amazed that we've managed to gap the rest of the bunch, and there's only one Saris NoPinz rider here in our group of 4. I'm certainly going for it because I realise this is my chance. Like, this is the deciding place in the race for me. If I don't go for it here and I drop back to the other group, then I'm never going to place in this race. We let go of the Japanese flagged rider, and it's now me and the 2 guys who were in the break before, and I'm ready to pretty much bury myself and give everything I've got for this. So I'm still burying myself when I'm on the front, and we've managed to increase the gap to about 8 seconds, which is where it remains more or less. Fast forward one more lap, and you can see now that 2 Saris NoPinz riders have had enough. Kameo and Jans are coming for it. They're putting out, as you can see, 6.8, 7 watts on the front to close the gap. Chris Beck, too, the other Saris rider, seems to be pushing pretty hard at the front of the chasing group. So as I see them closing in, I think to myself, these guys are talking on Discord. They're probably going to attack us as soon as they connect. I'd better be ready to put a big sprint down in case they just blast right through us. And I see Talbot's numbers go right up. Jans comes right through. Kameo presumably coming too, so I effectively stand up and sprint again to get onto the wheels. So Chris Beck, the other NoPinz rider, has managed to detach himself from the bunch and gets super close to us here to within 2 seconds. And once again, it just gets super exciting because we've got Polly coming through here for another big sprint. The 2 NoPinz riders in front of me will chase him down, and I will try and hold on for that. And we've got Holden Kameo with us as well. We seem to have lost the 4th NoPinz rider, Chris Beck, but I'm in a super privileged position here. a lot of luck and a lot of effort has got me to be right here in the front of the race. And it's at this point in the race that I have a bit of a stupid idea. You can see here that Cameo is not really willing to pull through and stay connected to the group. And I decide to sort of call his bluff a little bit. The reason I thought that might be an okay idea is because I'm pretty shot. I'm pretty tired, and I'm just hoping that he'll pull through and then he can pull me back through to the front of the race. But it turns out that he doesn't seem to care that much about staying connected to his two Saris NoPinz colleagues, and he's happy to call my bluff. And that's an embarrassing problem because at this point, I'm really settling for 5th place basically. And if you look, you'll see Chris Beck's numbers spiking here. 9 watts a kilo, 9.7. He's going to chase down. He's got 15 seconds to make with about 1 mile to go now. It's a tall order, but I'm wondering, is it doable? So I've been watching Chris close the gap. He's now down to 6 seconds. He makes it to 5 seconds. And at that point, I decide enough is enough. I'm just going to go for it. Holden can come with me and outsprint me on the end of the line, but I don't want to lose another place. I'm just going to give it everything I've got once again. There's not really enough distance left in the race for Holden to go back and help Chris Beck. So I was just really expecting him to sprint back up to me and take the place, but he doesn't. And the race finishes like this. I come in 4th. I'm super happy with the result. So a good race for me, a really good result in 4th here, and a gain of 3.2, which brought me down to about 135 or so in my race ranking. So if you're going to take anything away from this race, probably the 2 points. The first one, when we got strung out and we managed to make a break at the front, when I realised what was going on and we could get away. And the second one, when the Saris NoPinz team connected with us and attacked immediately. It's a very common thing to do in real life bike race. Maybe it doesn't happen quite so much in Zwift, but look out for that and be prepared. And maybe do it yourself. When you connect with a bunch of riders, just expect people to be kind of lazy, and maybe that's your time to attack and get a break. I think what happened at the end there is that Holden decided to try to finish outside of the top 10, because if you do that, then your race ranking is not negatively affected by a poor result. And a poor result for Holden would be anything other than 1st place. I mean, he came into the race with a race ranking of 72, and I don't think he would have improved that, even maybe by winning the race. So in an effort to finish outside of the top 10, I think he just stopped. Unfortunately, I think he actually came in 10th, and he ended up with a race where the race result of 209. So unfortunately, I think that probably negatively impacted his overall ranking. But that's my read on what happened at the end there. All right, folks, thanks for watching. Hopefully you learned something. I certainly did. Don't call the bluff of a super strong rider. See you next time.